Montana has a problem. County jails are bursting at the seams.
We just don't have a place to put them.
Montana jail population grew 70% in a 2-year span, and that overcrowding affects everyone.
I think it leads to more violence, more anxiety, and causes even the officers to get stressed out more.
But what's causing this overcrowding?
Almost all of those folks have some drug issue or alcohol issue underlying what they've done.
Drugs, addiction, and mental illness, those three things.
Montana's counties are struggling to combat the overcrowding that only seems to be getting worse. One man is locked up in Helena's jail, and he hopes to get out of jail and into an alternative program.
It's hard. It's really hard, man.
One mother from Billings was able to get out of jail and into a lockdown treatment.
I was scared. I really didn't know what was going to happen.
Another man is serving his time in the community because there's no space in jail.
It was kind of crazy because I was like, no, I want to go. And they're like, no, you can't go.
This is a peek into Montana's overcrowded jails and how the state is slammed for solutions.
This School of Journalism program was made possible with production support from the Greater Montana Foundation, encouraging communication on issues, trends, and values of importance to Montanans, and by the University of Montana.
Coming in with 2.
Sergeant Brian Merritt starts his workday at the jail in Helena. In the morning meeting, the jail staff reviews the day ahead.
We got a couple transports according to our agenda. Ryan gets out today. He's only a temp.
And more importantly, discusses inmate behaviors.
He's in holding 1.
He was pretty jovial last night when they brought him in, and then when we went and took him out of Pot 8 and brought him back, it seemed like that Pot was really upset with him.
These briefings have become more crucial as the jail becomes more and more crowded. Today, Merritt heads out to make the morning rounds, trying to keep a sense of humor.
That is 16 years of stress built up.
Merritt checks in on every inmate, bringing supplies and making sure everyone's accounted for.
Morning, gentlemen. Right now it's really quiet, really nice. Not so much 2, 3 in the afternoon when everyone's up moving.
The jail was built to house 58 inmates, but today he will be checking on 83.
When I first started, we ran an average population 50 to 60. Our average population now is 90 to 100.
The Helena jail isn't the only one in Montana facing problems with overcrowding. Nearly half of Montana's jails have been at or over max capacity within the last 5 years, including Yellowstone, Dawson, and Missoula counties. Having everyone packed together creates some serious tension.
We've seen physical violence in the last couple of years on the rise, and they do get charged for that in here. And sometimes it could be something as simple as a TV remote they're fighting over.
Merritt continues his rounds, making a stop he didn't have to in the past. He checks in on the library, where inmates live when there's no more room in the cells. One of the inmates Merritt checks on is Todd Rude. Rude has been in jail since January on a robbery and meth possession charge. Rude has it better than most in the jail. Good behavior means he's been named a trustee. He gets out of his cell to work around the jail, doing things like cleaning and doing laundry. His cell houses only 3 other inmates, while other cells are crammed with a dozen men.
The overcrowding sucks sometimes because they got people on the floor. I've seen it up to like 3 deep in the hallway and then underneath the stairs and stuff in the past, and that can cause a little tension.
Rude says he was first busted for drug dealing in 6th grade. He says he's been in and out of jail ever since, never being out of the system for longer than 3 years. This is the story for many of Montana's jail inmates. The ACLU of Montana estimates 90% of Montana inmates are in jail because of an addiction-related offense. Rude doesn't get any special treatment in jail when it comes to his addiction. Right now, he attends just one AA meeting a week, if there's even room in the jail to hold it. And he faces his most serious charge yet.
I don't know. I got this charge that's really a big charge. It's a robbery charge, and it doesn't look good at all, you know.
For now, Rude waits in an overcrowded Lewis and Clark jail, waiting for a court date that decides if he serves his time in jail or through outside treatment.
Good morning, Phoenix family. My name is Brian. I'm in recovery. It's a wonderful day to be in recovery.
This is Laura Bishop's life now.
Laura.
My name's Laura. I'm in recovery.
Bishop and the other 53 people in this room could be in jail right now.
Thanks, Laura.
Instead, they are at Watch East in Glendive,
Birthdays or abstinence
an intensive lockdown treatment program for people who have received a felony DUI. Bishop was convicted of her 4th DUI, making it a felony. This is the morning meeting where the group reviews the day ahead.
Can we get a third phase meeting at 9 in the dining room, please?
People reflect on sobriety milestones.
And I'm still walking, I'm still alive, and for that, I am very thankful.
And confess difficulties they're having in their recovery.
On 2/28, I earned this incident report, 311, refusing an order.
This program is an alternative option to a jail or prison sentence. And for some people, this is their last chance to turn their life around.
Toward the end of my usage and my drinking, that was every single day I would wake up and think of myself.
Bishop's story began in Billings.
I have 2 kids. My son is 17 and my daughter's 19. I was always there for my kids on time, you know, there to support them. They knew I loved them.
Then she started drinking to cope with her divorce.
I had a pretty good life up until that point. And I lost everything. I lost my job, and then it just went downhill from there. During that time, I was a mess. I was a mess.
She got 3 DUIs in a span of 4 months. And the court-ordered treatment she received wasn't working. She didn't hit rock bottom until her kids confronted her.
When your child is willing to tell you that how mad they are, it feels like a knife stabbing you in the stomach.
But Bishop kept drinking and got a 4th DUI. As the morning meeting wraps up, Bishop goes to her first class of the day. She continues to work on her recovery with graduation quickly approaching. Ricky Langton has been helping at the Mission Valley Animal Shelter in Polson for several days now.
I like walking dogs. I just like being outside. I have a dog of my own, and I could go up in the woods and just walk with him for hours.
But Langton isn't here because he wants to be. He was convicted of driving under the influence for the 2nd time. He's serving his sentence by participating in the Lake County Sheriff Labor Detail and helping at the Mission Valley Animal Shelter because the Lake County Jail is full. Langton ended up homeless at 15 years old after his parents divorced.
Being a parent, you should be there for your kids, but we didn't really expect that just because of what they were going through too.
Like Bishop and Rude, Langton has been in the system for a long time. He faced his first felony charges when he was just 17. He went from jail to prison to boot camp and then to addiction treatment. But Langton just wants to serve his time.
I think it should be traditional, like do your time, and that's how you learn.
The Lake County Sheriff's Labor Detail in Polson allows nonviolent offenders like Langton to do their time by volunteering in the community. After the work is done at the shelter, Langton gets to go home to his own dog. The Lake County Sheriff says Langton's sentence doesn't cost taxpayers a dime. Langton lives in his own home, works a job, and regularly meets with his probation officer.
I just wanted to get it done and over with, because that's what I was used to.
While Langton gets to be at home after a day of serving his sentence, he isn't getting addiction treatment nor counseling for his most recent DUI, and runs risk of ending up back behind bars.
Who's my best friend? Who's my best friend?
I'll be over there.
Todd Rude waits in the overcrowded Lewis and Clark County Jail for his trial on robbery and drug possession charges.
It's hard. It's really hard, man. You know, especially the loneliness and the fear and being in lack of control of your case and being able to try to prove your innocence or if you're guilty or get things squared away.
One day soon, Rude hopes to walk across the street like Merritt to a special courtroom, where he can get the support he says he needs and wants to address his addiction.
This is to acknowledge that as of February 28th, Cody Baker has 90 days of sobriety in our treatment court program.
Judge Jim Reynolds leads the team in drug treatment court in Helena.
Things are going pretty good though, right?
Yeah. There are 36 drug treatment courts in Montana. Treatment court is only for repeat felony offenders who have failed to stay sober after other treatment.
I'm either at the end or the front.
I know. Addiction is a real disease process. People are incapable of quitting their drug use.
They are usually recommended by their lawyer or parole officer. Spots are limited and getting accepted into treatment court is highly competitive. Treatment court participants must attend self-help meetings, individual and group addiction counseling, and check in with court once a week. However, unlike being locked down, like the clients in Watch, treatment court participants are integrated back into their communities, working, going to school, and living with their families. Judge Reynolds says the key to solving the state's and the nation's addiction problem is to rethink how we punish drug addicts.
I believe in this program, this approach as opposed to a punitive approach.
It costs Montana taxpayers a little over $12 per day to put a person through treatment courts because they're not paying for housing. Completing the program takes a little over a year on average. The cost of 1 year is $4,500. Rude is costing an average of $90 per day in jail. A year of jail costs Montana taxpayers $32,850. Participants of treatment court face a 29% chance of reoffending. In comparison, someone released from jail, like Rude, has a 37% chance of reoffending. Rude hopes to improve his chances of not reoffending by getting into treatment court.
Hopefully I'll get that opportunity, because I'm willing to take that hard thing to straighten this out and turn my life around.
Rude has been through a variety of other addiction treatments without success. He believes the combination of intense structure while also being in his own home will provide the tools for lasting success.
Going to prison is not going to do much of nothing, but just waste away there.
I believe in the peer support aspect of things.
It's easier to get mad instead of dealing with the pain.
You know, it's one addict helping another, one alcoholic helping another.
Laura Bishop is at the Watch East treatment facility serving out a sentence for a felony DUI. She's helping a peer who's had a setback in her recovery.
If I would have walked out yesterday and something happened, I can't say I wouldn't drink.
It feels good that you're a part of that. And on the other hand, I learned a ton.
A screening committee decides who will be admitted into Watch East. Program Administrator Derek Gibbs oversees the meeting.
No, we presented it to the legislature.
In this program, sadly, it takes a felony DUI to even be considered.
The The screening committee receives a packet with a person's criminal and substance abuse history. Then they take a vote. Today they accepted 4 new applicants.
It's very intense, it's very structured.
Screening committee and Glendive community member Jim Squires says statistics show that people do benefit from WACH's treatment methods.
I view it very pragmatically at times. I'll look at it. Are Montana taxpayer dollars being well spent in this type of a facility? And my answer to that is a resounding absolutely yes, they are well spent.
The average length of stay at Watch East is 6 months. On average, it costs Montana taxpayers $20 more per day to house Bishop in Watch East versus jail. After 6 months, that accumulates to nearly $4,000 more. Graduates of the Watch East program have a lower recidivism rate than those in jail. Laura has a daily structured routine based around recovery and reintegration into the community.
You work every day in class. You give 100%.
From writing your whole life story down on paper, to attending daily chemical dependency groups,
I was selfish from the
Bishop
very
is close to completing the intense curriculum and addressing the root of her problem, addiction.
That guy and stuff just got to get up every morning and have those drinks and stuff, you know?
There's just not a lot of resources in jail that could even come close to the options and opportunities we have here.
She's counting down the days until graduation.
I just let that get the best.
Ricky Langton is one of almost 800 people who can't get into the Lake County Jail to serve his sentence. Langton was chosen for work detail instead, but Lake County Sheriff Don Bell says some people have to wait as long as 4 years to do their time.
So what happens is if somebody's sentenced to jail and there's no room, so they're told by the judge to call one or two times, maybe 3 times a week to see if there's a spot for them in the jail.
The Sheriff's Department started using Facebook to post the names of people who should be in jail, but aren't because the jail is full.
Well, I've got a lot of positive feedback because of it, because the community sees what we're up against.
Right now, the Facebook list is averaging around 20 people per week that would have been in jail if Lake County had the space, but were instead released. Sheriff Bell says building a new, modernized jail is the ideal option to operating normally again. But he feels asking taxpayers to foot the $20 million bill is too big a burden. He's hopeful the state will be able to offer support.
It's a huge problem and really should have been done 30 years ago, but they've just moved along and limped along, and so we're trying to do as best we can.
I don't get the access to that, I guess.
What?
I can get in the jail, but I can't get in the kitchen.
That's ridiculous.
The Sheriff Labor Detail doesn't cost taxpayers, and participants actually pay to be able to serve their time this way. The work detail is so new, the department isn't sure how it affects recidivism rates in their community. But in a study from the Washington Department of Corrections, similar work exchange programs reduced recidivism by only 3%.
Everybody's a little leery at first, but these folks are really pretty decent people. They just got a ticket for something and that they were sentenced to some jail time, and they just want to get it done with.
However, Langton is not receiving any sort of counseling for his DUI during his sentence with the labor detail, besides his regular check-in with his probation officer. And in less than 6 months, he's going to be completely on his own.
I wasn't like an alcoholic, but I abused it. And it was, yeah, like 3-4 beers, what you think, but then it's just you don't stop, you know what I mean? And it's hard to stop.
Langton says he is not going to reoffend, but he knows even the smallest mistake can impact his freedom.
Like I know I'm not gonna reoffend, I can't say I'll never drink again. I just want to get to myself into a point where I could handle going to a bar.
It will be the first time he's out of probation or parole and won't have to get permission to travel since he was a teenager.
I think my first thing I'm gonna do is just take a big trip, because then I don't even have to have travel permits, you know what I mean? So I think I'm just gonna go somewhere and just feel free.
Todd Rude is still waiting in the Lewis and Clark County Jail.
I'm trying to turn it into a positive, because I got one chance, man, and I'm not gonna squander this. Got to, it's a want to.
There's no court date set for his trial.
Right now I got that pending over my head, that robbery, that terrifies me.
Judge Mike Swingley sees many of these inmates in his courtroom.
Not to leave the state without court permission. If you get out, you're not to possess any weapons.
And almost all of them have the same issue.
They're all related to the drugs.
Swingley feels there's little he can do to change things.
Open one.
So Lewis and Clark County Jail plans to add jail space to house the ever-growing number of inmates. They also hope to introduce programs aimed at getting inmates out and keeping them out.
I'd rather have somebody out contributing in the workplace versus sitting in here costing the taxpayers money.
Rude took a big step back in jail. His trustee status was stripped from him after he broke the rules. Now he's not allowed out of his cell to work around the jail. And he's been moved to a cell with 11 other inmates.
Need lots of help. I'm a train wreck right now, but it'll be all right.
I just can't believe all this is just working.
Oh, this is just working.
It's graduation day at Watch East, and participants are decorating the facility's gym in preparation for the ceremony.
I don't know what to expect today. I've been appreciative the whole time, but today I'm able to see the bigger picture of what I've gained here. So going into today, if I wouldn't, really thank the community, and this facility.
Good afternoon, family and visitors. How are we today?
Watch East believes in strong community involvement to help participants with their recovery. The community floods Watch with donations and hope that participants leave with a better sense of purpose. At the completion ceremony, graduates will receive a coin, completion certificate, and a quilt, handmade by volunteers at Glendive Churches. Quilter Helen Granmo has attended the ceremony before.
I think it's a great program. And you have to hear their testimonies to appreciate their thankfulness for the program.
Laura, come on up.
My name's Laura, I'm in recovery. I'm very grateful for everything that I've learned here. I think about all this stuff that we've been given that we didn't really earn in the beginning, but I feel like I've earned that now. I want to share my experiences. I'm not embarrassed anymore about my alcoholism. It is what it is. I can't change my past, but I can definitely change my future. So it's been a good day, and I'm grateful, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you. I read a letter this morning about my daughter, my daughter holding me accountable.
Thank you, Laura. That was most excellent.
Saying, this is the first time I ever really, truly believed that you're sorry. She actually accepted it. And, we're working back to our relationship.
All right, Laura.
We're trying to help them integrate back in and to stay in the community. It's not about getting through this program, it's about staying out.
Although Bishop will be on probation for the next 7 years, she returns to Billings where she will live in sober housing and already has a job interview lined up.
I would never got this education about myself by being out there. So I owe my life right now to this facility. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to live in recovery and show people and share my experiences and hope that other people are fortunate enough as myself.
One day at a time.
Montana counties have a whole variety of options to battle the growing addiction and jail time cycle. Watch East offers an intense lock-in treatment approach which got Laura Bishop back on her feet.
I have life again, and I like it. I love it. I didn't have that before.
Others battling addiction and crime find success in less structured programs like treatment court.
Almost everybody over there, I think, could benefit from a treatment approach as opposed to a punitive approach.
Another county uses a work release program to keep jail numbers down. These types of programs don't teach people like Ricky Langton skills to address their substance abuse, but it gets them out of the system.
It's a little crazy. Like, my probation officer asked me, like, what are you gonna do? And it's like, I can't tell you. Like, I can't tell you what I'm gonna do because I've had authority like that since I've been 15.
Without all of these options, Lewis and Clark County Jail's overcrowding will only get worse. The jail recognizes the need for more options like other counties have. For now, the jail is remodeling to make more room for inmates, while also creating programs that help inmates like Todd Rude overcome their addictions and get out of the cycle.
Yeah, if you don't toe a straight line, absolute abstinence, most likely, like me, you're going to be back in the system in no time.
3 people with 3 different sets of needs are looking to break their pattern of reoffending. They have lots of options to get out, but there's no guarantee they will leave the system for good.
This School of Journalism program was made possible with production support from the Greater Montana Foundation, encouraging communication on issues, trends, and values of importance to Montanans, and by the University of Montana.